Good afternoon. Another Dennis Hubbard gardening tips. I'm not quite sure of the number, but it is the latest one. The theme today is, as always, a very small garden with the maximum amount of produce in the garden. This afternoon I'm going to concentrate on the fruit trees. Last autumn I pruned the trees, as you will see, very severely, i.e. this conference pear, you can see where I pruned it very heavily, as one should be. The end result is that the fruit buds, which are these, all those are fruit buds with probably half a dozen pears on each of the one. It will mean that all the strength has gone into the fruit buds, which will produce even sized pears and much sweeter and no misshapen pears. We had pears until Christmas last year, which was very nice to have. Small tree, small amount of space, and you've got enough pears to last you until Christmas. Now this is the Worcester Pearmain. That will only be a Worcester Pearmain until it rains, and then I don't know what it'll be. it is a Worcester Pearmain, once again very severely pruned. But a Worcester Pearmain always bears fruit on the end of a branch, as you can see there. And there's going to be adequate fruit here. The first year this tree was in operation, or the second year, there were so many apples on it, they were about so big, because it desperately wanted pruning, which it has. And they've all been manured, all been with farm manure, all the way around the roots, ready to go. Now here we have the...
so we're in the middle of March now then?
We're in the middle of March.
Very early spring.
It is very early spring, yes. So much so that I'm a little bit fearsome about the apricot tree, because as you bring your camera close here, you'll see that
there's some blossom coming.
The blossom are coming, and every one of those is an apricot. And when they burst, I've either got to cover them up with hessian, as I'll show you later on in another program, or otherwise we would lose the whole crop. On top of that, a very fine paintbrush, Charles paintbrush, I've got to pollinate all the fruit buds on the tree, unless I don't want if frost gets at them, they're finished. But you can see the difference between a fruit bud and leaf buds, and that applies to all the trees. Once again, it's been highly farmyard manure. The horse manure on there has been probably 100 weight on each tree. Now then, this is the nectarine. Here again, you can see the fruit buds are coming again. They will be opening in about a fortnight's time, which I suppose I shall have to revert to covering them with the hessian down there. So that's a good tree. Now we come on to the James Greaves apple. This has been once again very cruelly pruned. It's cut down to half its size. But now this year there are over 100 fruit buds. There they are, the fruit buds. Excellent, absolutely excellent fruit buds. There's well over 100. There again, it was after Christmas before we used the rest of the crop from last year. Once again, emphasising small garden. It's not particularly south facing, it's southwest, but it still produces the fruit. Banked up with farm manure at the end of the year. Next one we have is the damson, Merryweather. Bring your camera close in and you'll see the fruit buds on here. Every one of those fruit buds is a damson, and we are now using damsons in puddings and that sort of thing from frozen last year. A wonderful tree, a tree that everyone should have. There's one just thing that I've forgotten to tell you, forgotten to mention, and that is, if you tie here, if you tie something like this wire around and don't remove it as the tree expands, it just soaks into the tree itself, and you never get it out.
Oh, right,
doesn't seem to have done any damage, but might have been lucky there. Now we've had the damson. Now this is what I call the naughty tree. 5 years, no blossom. Threat to dig it up the following year, one pair, one blossom. But now, after severely pruning, again, very severely pruning, I've got about 40 fruit buds, and they look very, very healthy. They're fruit buds. These are leaf buds, quite distinct, but they are the fruit buds. Once again, in about 3 weeks' time, these will be opening, and if we have a frost forecast, they've got to be covered or we lose the lot. Now, we come to the Cox's orange pippin. You can see the amount of farmyard manure on these to make a good crop of fruit. Cox's orange pippins are not particularly easy. For some reason, they don't perform as well as the pear trees and the other apple trees. Now we move on to the Victoria plum. Everyone is a plum. There are, as we had last year, hundreds. But what you've got to watch out with the plum tree,
the fruit buds are not very big on this, are they?
They're not, because it's early doors yet. But they are very, very prolific in fruiting. Now, when you come to certain parts of a tree that's dead, you can tell me that. Take that off. That's dead. I can't produce any more. There's one here that's dead. You see, had that been green, it would have been live, but you've got to cut out all these dead branches. But it's so difficult to be absolutely sure. But that's a Victoria plum. Very, very nice. Very wonderful plums, absolutely. Once again, small garden, plenty of fruit. Never be frightened of fruit trees. A plum tree, like any other tree, will grow and grow and grow, but you are in charge of how high it grows. As with the cherry tree, that cherry tree, that should require a long ladder to get to the fruit. But having it in an espalier shape, right across, bring your camera close to these fruit buds. They're the fruit buds. All the way along, it's going to be a fantastic. And on top of that, I can cover them against the blackbirds without having to use ladders, step ladders or anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
and that's
8,
what you've got there to cover them.
8 branches. And that's about as far as we go with the...
That's what you've got there to cover them, is it?
Yes, it is. I'll show you. We've got time on this one, I'll show you.
And this is ordinary fleece?
Just
stuff.
ordinary fleece. Actually, they won't renew in this year because they've been used quite a few years. And you have a cane at one end and a cane at the other. Slip it over the cane and over this side as well. And it will cover and keep the...
and that's enough to keep the frost off, is it?
That's enough to keep the frost off, yes. Without it, you wouldn't get much of a crop. Well, that's about all for the fruit trees. What I'd like to do next time is concentrate on a lawn at this time of year, early spring, particularly if it's suffered from anything. Right, okay then. Right, see you again, bye.